Hi everybody, Andrew Smith here and welcome to this video/lesson where I'm going to be teaching you 5 important and common useful business phrasal verbs that native speakers will often use in meetings, in presentations and in negotiations. So if phrasal verbs are new to you, then I would highly recommend going and getting yourself a pen and paper because you definitely will want to write down some of these phrasal verbs that we're going to learn today. So we're going to dive right in with our first phrasal verb of this video, and the first phrasal verb we're going to look at is to draw up. Now we will often draw up an agreement or a contract, and to draw up basically means to compose a document and to put it in written form. So as an example, we could say we need to draw up that new contract today before our meeting with our suppliers next week. Or we could say, Jackie is drawing up the proposal as we speak. It should be ready by Wednesday. So to draw up means to compose something in a written form. Now, the second phrasal verb we have is to get ahead. To get ahead means to be successful in your career or life. It means to make more progress than other people. And we often use this phrasal verb when we are maybe comparing our success and progress against other people, like our colleagues or our competitors. So in an example sentence, we could use it like this. Networking is the key to getting ahead in both work and life. Or we could say, you must make lots of connections if you want to get ahead in this industry. The third phrasal verb we're going to look at today is one that you've probably heard before, and that is burnout, or to burn out. And to burn out means to work too hard so that you become completely exhausted and completely stressed out. So in an example sentence, we could say, people who work really long hours are often more prone to burnout than those who don't. Or we could say, burnout is one of the most common reasons for employees changing jobs. So if a company is pushing their workers too hard and causing them to burn out, then they're going to want to join a different company where there is less stress and less pressure. The fourth phrasal verb we're going to look at today is to not measure up. And this is a really interesting one. So a great way to say that something is not adequate or just right is we can say that it doesn't measure up. And if something doesn't measure up, it means it is not satisfactory. It doesn't compare well with the standards. So in an example sentence, we might say, John's work on this new project just doesn't measure up. We'll need to talk to him. So here we're saying that John's work on this new project isn't right, it's not satisfactory. Therefore, we will need to have a chat with him about this. Another example of the phrasal verb to not measure up is, he never measured up to his father's expectations. So you can see here how we can use this phrasal verb like the verb met, right? He didn't meet his father's expectations. Or we could say in a more informal way, he didn't measure up to his father's expectations. Now, the fifth and final phrasal verb that we're going to look at today is a very, very common one. And this phrasal verb is great in lots of different business situations. And the last phrasal verb we're going to look at today is to zero in on something. To zero in on something. And this phrasal verb basically means to focus closely on something. And it is commonly used in presentations and also in meetings when we want the audience or participants to focus on a trend, a fact, or a statistic. We would ask them to zero in on it. So in an example sentence, we could say something like this. If we zero in on our sales figures from Q3, we can see that, then the rest of the sentence. Or another example is we could say, we should zero in on the new marketing strategy in next week's meeting if we want it to be a success. So in this last example, we're saying we need to focus or we need to concentrate more clearly on the marketing strategy if we want it to be a success. So there you have it. Those are 5 common and useful business English phrasal verbs that you will often hear native English speakers using in different business contexts. And one final thing on phrasal verbs before we wrap this video up. You know, a very common mistake that non-native English speakers make when learning new phrasal verbs especially is that they try to learn every single one. They try to learn too many at once. And when they do this, what tends to happen is they get burnout, right? They become stressed, anxious, and often very overwhelmed. So my advice to you as a business English learner would be to just focus on a few important, useful, and meaningful phrasal verbs at a time. So, you know, in 1 week, try to limit yourself to just 5 or maybe 10, but definitely no more than 10. And when you are choosing new phrasal verbs to learn, make sure that you are choosing ones that you think or you know you will definitely be using in your work life. That is the whole point in learning a language, is to learn language that is relevant and meaningful to you. Now, I've recently also released a blog article where I actually give you 10 business English phrasal verbs. So if you want to learn an additional 5 more, then you can go and check out our blog on our website, www.wespeakbusiness.com/blog. And in that article, I share with you another 5 great useful business English phrasal verbs. So thank you very much for watching. And if speaking English at work is something that you have to do or something that you really struggle with or find difficult, then I would like to invite you to our exclusive free seminar where I'm going to show you how to speak better business in just 1 month. And this seminar is value-packed. It's 2 hours long, and I share on my 10 years experience in this seminar about some very great tips, techniques, and frameworks that you can use to speak better English at work in no time at all. And this seminar is 100% free. You don't have to pay for anything. All you need to do is turn up with a pen and paper, listen, and have an open mind. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video, guys.